The one thing I love about Club Shay Shay is that it gets people talking, good or bad, and it makes a lot of people respond to his interviews. We saw that with Cat Williams. After Cat Williams came to Club Shay Shay, everybody started responding to the critiques of the interview. Cedric Entertainer responded, Michael Blackson responded, Gary Owen responded, Mike Epps responded. Everybody responded, even Dave Chappelle, who wasn't even mentioned in the interview. But the case is the same with Monique, who talked about a myriad of things and a myriad of people that she wanted to hold accountable. And that's interesting because Monique and her husband, Sidney Hicks, love holding people accountable. And they do it in a very nonchalant and respectful way. You see, they don't really come at you calling you names and really roasting you. You know, that's what D.L. Hughley does, right? When D.L. Hughley wants to clap back at somebody he feels is lying on him, he uses this type of terminology.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it.
But see, that's not how Monique does it. No, when she wants to hold you accountable, she usually sends her husband to do it. And it sounds something like this.
So we wanted to make that clear out of love and respect for Brother DL. And despite all the commentary that he gave, with all the crunches she be doing, the captain's in the front.
I do.
And
I do.
Tell him.
I'm a sneak snacker, baby.
And she doesn't sneak when she snacks.
You see, it sounds respectful and jovial, and it just seems like they're disagreeing with the point. But in reality, it might be that they're putting you down. And when I first heard it, I'm like, wow, that's a great disagreement because it seems like it's coming out of love. But stop the show. Let's go back to Monique again. Rewind, Nemo. D.L. Hughley said something that was very interesting in that particular clapback because if you can remember, Monique was the one that tried to say this about D.L. Hughley.
I'm going to bring this up. I wasn't going to do it. But damn it, this seat.
You might want to have another
Look, this seat make you go, truth, tell it. No, tell the damn truth. God damn it, tell the truth. Because family is sacred.
It's supposed to be.
And we don't cross the line with family.
Mm-hmm.
And people begin to get comfortable to jump on the Monique bandwagon of Monique doing things wrong and she doing this and she doing that. And there's a brother named D.L. Hughley.
Yep.
And until he take accountability, I won't let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
But then afterwards, he said something about her kids not liking her, which was this.
She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters.
And of course, somebody can say, look, come on, DL, you're just upset that she's exposing you for the so-called fraud that you are. Stop hating on black women. But can I get a dun-dun-dun sound effect? Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. Why? Well, I'll explain why if you just give me a second. Monique's son took umbrage with her interview in which they talked about their relationship. In many ways, he believes that what she's saying is not the truth. Now, remember, Monique is holding everybody accountable in this interview. She's holding Kevin Hart accountable. Oh, by the way, if you don't remember what she said about Kevin Hart, it was this.
Well, soon as we got off the phone and they told us what Kevin's manager, David Becky, said, I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, hey, baby, We just got off the phone with Endemol, and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, you don't want anything to do with me. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication. I can tell you right now. I said, wait a minute. Are you okay, though, with this white man calling them up? Getting in between our relationship after something you said. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him. I've never talked back to Kevin Hart again. So that's what we're faced with.
Then she's holding Oprah accountable, even Shannon Sharp, for dating white women. I mean, stop the show. Well, booty clapping sounds. You know, pro-black Shannon gotta get his vanilla. Right. Well, wait a minute. What about when your own kids have these things to say?
But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid, that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, you know, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, you know, those were things that I was willing to get over. You know, nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, you know, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, you know, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology. But an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him.
You see, let me kind of go into this as a person who is not a parent. And I saw so many women on the Shade Room who really were castigating this guy. And I'll talk about that in another video. I didn't really like that. But you see, here is a young black man who is not making any insults towards Monique personally. He isn't talking about his mother's weight. He isn't talking about how she looks. He's talking about the neglect that she has for him. And stop the show. He's also talking about something else that many of us black men know. What happens in black America? Picking a new guy over your son. Now, let's rewind, Nemo. Here's a controversial black manosphere argument that black men have. Whenever a woman gets a man, she should adapt to that man as the leader of the household, and he should become first. He should be served dinner first. And I know that's hard for a lot of women to understand, but I'm the kind of man who's from the old school. My grandfather took my grandmother when she had my mother, and those were the rules. I know many black men who got into that situation, married a single mom, and you know what? They became that guy. But they provided and they took care of things. In my honest opinion, Sydney Hicks was never a provider. This is the reason why Monique said they had a clause in the relationship that she can sleep with whatever person that she wanted. She also talks about she's bisexual. He agreed to that. Those terms let me know she was taking care of Sydney Hicks. So she had no real reason to submit to him when, in fact, he was not bringing a lot to the table. And I only believe that a woman should submit to a man if he's bringing manly, masculine, traditional things to the table. But that is not Sydney Hicks' family. The son was put to the side over Sydney Hicks, who was a man who is not providing. And this is a big story in black African-American life. A lot of us men know that. Moms get with men who don't have anything. And then you see this man using the car. You can see this man eating the food. You can see this man put the clapping sounds. Some of you have even walked in and seen some other guy with your mom and give me like a mattress bouncing sound. We've all seen this. This is not a man that is providing. He's not leading. I've heard of stories of guys finding the crack pipes of their mom's boyfriends in the alley. A man who's not providing. And to choose such a man over your son while you're trying to hold everybody accountable, it looks bad, family. And we just got to be real. That's what it is. And as black men in America, we have been really distraught about what we have seen. I'm going to tell you ladies out there, and I understand, I don't really understand what black women have went through solely, but I can do my best to empathize. It must be hard coming up in black America with no father figure and no protection. But don't you understand what we are little boys, 9, 10, 11, and 12? We don't have protection either. And we get to see a lot of our mothers doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And we're not upset with them or hate them for their choices. But at the same time, there is no accountability. And then you have the mom going around like she did nothing wrong. When a lot of these young black men become traumatized because of the actions of their mother, but the mom is going around trying to hold everybody accountable when their own kids are saying the same things about you, that's even worse. And you don't want to take any responsibility for that, Monique. And that's what the young man is talking about. And many of us in black America, we have lived this. We have seen this. A lot of our mothers and aunts have made tremendous progress in trying to be the best mother that they can. And parenting is not perfect. We understand that. And we love our mothers for that. We know that the crack epidemic of my generation and a lot of the things against the community, a lot of ladies just didn't have the infrastructure to make it right. But at least admit to what you've done wrong. Now, that's the issue. Can you take responsibility? And that is the problem. She wants everybody else to take responsibility. She don't want to take it. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shay Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you do. Sorry, Bell. We're out.